What is the perfect career? Yeah. I think when we start our university journeys, we sort of have an idea of what career we want to do, right? Especially if you're doing a professional degree, if you study medicine, you know that you want to be a medical doctor, right? It doesn't matter what kind of doctor, you might figure that out later on in your journey, but you know that you want to be a medical doctor. If you study to become a nurse, you know that you want to be a nurse, right? If you study to become, a pharmacist, you become a pharmacist, right? It's a bit different with like degrees that are not as professional as those. For someone like me who studied economics and mathematics, you might think, oh, I want to be an economist, but you realize fourth year in that you don't care for economics that much. Then what do you do, right? I am battling with that currently. I'm battling with what I want the perfect career to be, and I want to discuss that in this video, right? This video is going to be particularly different because I don't have solutions. I'm only going to be posing questions, right? I'm only going to be walking you guys through what I'm going through currently, right? Which is picking the right career. I'm going to take you through my journey as to like what I thought I'd become, what I thought I would be when I first went to uni. And then I'm going to take you through what my first job was and how that changed my outlook on what I want to do. And lastly, where I am now and what I think that is going to do for my future career. Like I said, I don't have solutions, so it's just going to be a discussion video more than anything. So first and foremost, in this 3-part video, I'm going to start with what I studied, yeah? So I did my undergrad in computational and applied mathematics and economic science. The idea there was that I would work in consulting or investment banking. Why? Because those are the two high-paying jobs that I could get with this degree. And also, I did not know anything else because you're surrounded by finance and all of that. The only careers you think you're going to get are in banking or management consulting. So even now, the idea is that I'm going to work in banking or management consulting, especially because I'm still junior and I haven't really worked that much. I still have like close to 2 years worth of experience, right? So I studied that, and undergrad was okay, I guess. I did well. I graduated with distinction, and I did my honors in economic science because I liked economics at the time. And then during that time, you sort of start doing internships, right? To sort of get an idea of what you're going to study, or where you're going to work rather than what you're going to study. So I did an internship at McKinsey, and it was okay. I remember during the internships, just sort of getting an idea of what the company would be like, getting the culture. I like the prestige. I've made videos about working at McKinsey. You can check them out, but I like the prestige. And also, I had not applied to any other jobs, so it was sort of set in stone that I would work at this company. So I did. I proceeded after the internship to work at McKinsey, right? Which takes me to the second part of the video, which is my first job, right? So now I am at McKinsey, right? And before you join a company, yeah, they send you like a contract, and even the contract sort of details a little bit what you're gonna do. Or they tell you during the internship, or you sort of get a sense of what your job is going to be. But that's sort of like a curated idea. That's sort of like a controlled, curated, very like ABC simple idea of what the job is going to entail. But you sort of cannot understand or go through the intricate details, exactly the day-to-day of what you're going to do, including people you're going to work with during that time, which makes it a little bit more difficult, right? Because you're like, okay, well, I get that, I'm going to be solving complex business problems and using data to structure a solution and communicating that to stakeholders. That's sort of like the written idea of what you are going to do. But on a daily, what does that look like? You only experience that once you start working. So I started working, and for the first month, it's still the same. It's still like training, yeah. So in training, you sort of go through still the textbook aspect of what your job, what this career is going to be. You're going to be solving problems. This is how you solve problems. This is how you structure your solutions. This is how you use the analytical methods to, present your solutions. And you're just like, oh, okay, this still makes sense, right? And then after the first month, your training is done, yeah. Get into the job. you get your first project. I think, in many of these companies, and I don't know if this has been experienced, you can tell if I'm wrong, but they sort of soft launch you, yeah? They'll start you off with like a simple-ish project in most cases. Or even if it's like an intense project, they will sort of give you the simpler task for the first like week or two to sort of like onboard you, sort of like, warm you up rather, not onboard, sort of warm you up. So I started with like the simpler project, simpler tasks. Like, okay, this is fine, this makes sense. People are still like, kind to me because I'm new. And then you sort of get into the weeds of it. And the more you get into the weeds of it, you still ask. I think with consulting it's great because you still are reminded of what the job is about. Like, you still are solving problems, but you find yourself spending a whole week like doing just one model. The model is not making sense. Or you spend the whole week trying to get data. You spend the whole week trying, like, nothing that has to do with the role in itself, like with the job description itself, but it's just like work, busy work around, the role and the project itself. And you're like, oh, okay, well, this is not what I thought this would be. This is like not at all what I thought it would be. So what do I do now? But you cannot do anything at this point because you are here, right? So you can only hope within the firm or within the company that you will get projects that are more aligned with your needs. So you continue to like, ask for projects that align with what you thought you were going to do. So you're like, oh, I really want to be in projects that have more problem solving because I enjoy problem solving. And then they will tell you that, oh no, you can do that. That's possible to do. But you always forever going to be like, focused on the needs of the business. What does the business need at this point? If the business at this point needs you to be chasing clients, getting data, you will not be problem solving for a long time. And then it just keeps on getting worse and worse. And then when you speak to other people in the firm, and they'll tell you that the higher up you go, you even stop doing what you like at all. You now start people management, you start stakeholder management, you start doing things that are away from what you thought the job would be. So then if this was your perfect career or the perfect job that you wanted, you are so far away from it now. What do you do? Yeah? Like, what is this about now? You know what I mean? So you have to take that into consideration, that you might not do what is in the job description. So because of that, and because of many other things, like, and I'm gonna talk about the work-life balance like a little bit, because I think it was one of the part of like the reasons why I was like, okay, I cannot do this, because like when you're young, and you're in uni and you are like an overachiever like myself, right? When someone says to you, oh, you're gonna burn in that job, the hours are going to be long, you're gonna, you're not gonna like that. You sort of think to yourself, what are long hours? I can handle myself. I'm an overachiever. This is what I do. I want the long hours. This is what I prayed for, right? But in reality, on a daily, try working 2 a.m.s. Try working from like say 10 a.m. to like 2 a.m. straight for a week, and then come back and tell me if you're an overachiever. It sort of gets to you. Like, it does not, that whole idea that, oh, I'm used to this, I'm an overachiever, I can do this, I like hard work, out the window, because now you are exhausted. You want absolutely nothing to do with this. No amount of money can save you from this. You're just miserable all the time. And I think when you pick your career, you sort of don't care for that. You're like, I don't care for work-life balance. And nothing wrong with working long hours occasionally, but if you're working long hours constantly, all day, every day, trust me, it will get straight to your head and you will hate everything about it. I hated everything about it. So taking break, time off does help, but to a degree, because you are still gonna be miserable. So then there was that, and then I was like, okay, fine, I don't want to do this. This has nothing to do with consulting. Well, at least it does, but like not in as much as I wanted it to be. So let me move to a different career. What do I want? And then you go back to the drawing board. What do I want? What did I hate? What did I not like in that case? That is an exercise that you need to do, and it's very hard to do, especially for someone who's young, because I still don't know what I want from a job. Genuinely, I know that I want to do consulting. I know that I like the work, but what does that even look like? What does it even entail? So I took a break. I went back and did my master's. And being a student will afford you the time to think about what you want. That I can guarantee you. So I did have the time to think about what I wanted, and I knew that I did not want to work 2 a.m. nights, 4 2 a.m. nights consecutively at all. I was like, this is not it. So yeah, I did not like that at all. And then I completed my master's. I got a job that was much more chill, which is where I am now. I'm working as a economics consultant. Very nice company, honestly, great people. But now I'm like, okay, I've solved for the not sleeping at. I mean, I still do work late nights, but like, you know, it's not as often as I used to when I worked in strategic consulting. And now I'm like, okay, but I'm bored now. And like, you know, I don't want to be bored at work, and I don't want to do something that I don't like. You know what I mean? And like, I know for sure that I don't want to do this. But then the lifestyle aspect is there. Like, I can still spend time with my friends. I can still spend time with like my partner and all of that. And I'm like, so what now? What now, people? What are we supposed to do now? I don't know. What are we supposed to do? I'm leaving you guys with the question. I'm posing this question to you. I am posing this question to myself. What are we supposed to do now? Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, I leave your comment. Happy to, respond to them, and I'll see you on the next one.